Okay, so today we're diving into this idea of invisible mastery.
Okay.
It's from the Psyche and Wisdom channel on YouTube.
Right.
And the idea is kind of like, have you ever, like, the more you learn about something, the harder it is to talk about with other people who haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
Or even like, you've had a huge impact on something, but it wasn't from some grand gesture.
Right.
It was more like behind the scenes,
Yeah.
physical mastery.
Yeah. And that's exactly where we're going with this deep dive.
Okay.
So how do you get things done? How do you exert influence?
Right.
Not by forcing it, being loud about it, demanding recognition.
Right.
But through being patient, really understanding a situation.
Okay.
And working with the dynamics that are already there. Kind of like you're mastering a game that most people aren't even aware is happening.
A hidden game.
Exactly.
Okay.
A hidden.
So the video goes into all these different points about deep knowledge can actually make you feel isolated.
Yeah.
The power of silence, influencing things indirectly.
And like what real power looks like versus just like showy displays of power.
Right. So not just the appearance of power, but like actually wielding power.
Exactly.
Okay. So let's start with this idea of the burden of knowledge.
Yeah. So the video starts off with this idea that the more deeply you understand something, the more you might actually end up feeling isolated. And it uses this phrase that I thought was so powerful.
Okay.
It talks about a loneliness that trails the one who sees through the veil.
Whoa.
Right. So you might relate to that feeling where you just get something.
Yeah.
You understand a situation, you see the truth of something.
Right.
But you can't really explain it to other people.
Right. And they don't get it.
They don't get it. And it's like you're alone with this understanding.
It's lonely at the top, kind of.
It is.
Yeah.
And, you can see where things are headed. You try to share that with people.
Right.
And they're either confused or they just resist it.
Yeah, and sometimes they don't even tell you they're resisting.
Right. It's like an unspoken resistance.
Yeah. And the video brings up Schopenhauer.
Oh, yeah.
And he has this really kind of harsh but true observation. He says, intelligence is a mirror that reflects a reality most would rather shatter than face.
Wow.
And it's so true.
It is.
Like, how many times have you
Brilliant.
held your tongue because you're like, I don't even want to.
It's not worth it.
It's not even worth it.
Yeah. You just know that it's going to cause more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah. Or you're just going to get frustrated trying to explain it.
Absolutely.
So it brings us to this other idea, which is the power of silence and kind of like not doing anything.
Yes. Strategic inaction.
Okay.
This is so important because, a lot of times we think that if we're not talking,
right,
if we're not doing something,
we're losing,
we're losing, that we're giving up.
Right.
But the video says, truth doesn't beg to be heard. It lingers, patient and unyielding.
Oh, that's a good one. Write that down.
Right. It's like truth is just there.
Yeah.
It doesn't need you to constantly defend it or argue about it.
Right.
And the more you try to force truth on someone,
right,
it's like you're turning it into a weapon that could actually backfire on you.
So this is interesting to me because, we're always told to share the truth and speak truth to power and all that.
Right.
But this is saying,
sometimes
strategic.
Exactly. It's about knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. When to act and when to hold back.
Yeah.
So it's not just about knowing stuff. It's about knowing when and how to use it.
Right. So knowledge is one thing.
Yeah.
But wisdom is
knowing how to apply it.
Knowing how to use it. Yeah.
Yeah. When to use it, when not to use it.
Yeah. Okay. So then the video goes into this other really interesting idea, which is it uses this phrase, floating in the sea of mediocrity.
Oh, yeah.
And secretly plotting your course.
Oh, I love that image.
So sometimes you don't need to be out there making a big splash.
Right. You don't need to draw attention to yourself.
Yeah.
You can blend in and make progress without everyone watching your every move.
Right. And kind of people underestimate you.
Yeah. Let them underestimate you.
Yeah.
That can actually be an advantage.
That can work to your advantage.
Absolutely.
Okay. So it's kind of like the saying, still waters run deep.
Exactly. On the surface,
yeah,
you might seem like you're just going with the flow.
Right.
But underneath, you have a plan.
You know where you're going. Okay, so then it gets into this really interesting part about invisible.
Yes.
So the video says that real power might not be about constantly improving yourself in a way that everyone can see.
Like showing off your progress all the time.
Right. But it's more about subtly shaping situations and letting other people feel like they came up with the ideas.
It's like planting seeds and letting them grow in someone else's mind.
Right.
So they think it was their idea all along.
And it's not about taking credit.
Exactly.
It's just about...
It's about the outcome.
Like influencing the outcome.
Yeah.
So have you ever had like a conversation with someone and then later they present an idea as their own?
Right. And you're like,
Look,
wait a minute.
That
sounds familiar.
Yeah. But you don't
say anything.
Because
it's not about you getting credit.
Right.
It's about the idea taking root.
Yeah.
And spreading.
And growing.
Exactly.
Okay. And then it has this really powerful image about not like pointing out someone's mistakes, but watching them wander lost while you hold the compass they'll never see.
Ooh, that's good.
Like, you know.
It's like you have the map.
Yeah, you have the map.
But you're letting them explore.
Yeah, and you're letting them find their own way.
Exactly.
Even though you could just tell them.
You could tell them, but sometimes it's better.
Sometimes it's better to
let them figure it out on their own.
Let them figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they'll learn more that way.
So it's almost like a long term.
It's about patience.
Patience, yeah.
It's about the long game.
And the video uses this analogy of a chessboard.
Oh, yeah.
So you're not like arguing about...
But you're not focused on the individual move.
The current move.
Yeah.
But you're subtly...
You're changing the whole board.
Shifting the whole board.
Yeah.
While the other person is focused on like...
On the small stuff.
A little...
Skirmish.
The immediate tactics.
Right. So it's about shaping the whole context.
Yes.
Not just the content of the interaction.
Exactly.
Okay. So then that leads to this wisdom of withholding.
Yes.
So the video says, silence isn't surrender. It's the space where strategy breathes. So it's like...
It's not passive.
Being quiet
doesn't
mean you're giving up.
It's active. It's where you plan.
It's your thinking.
You think, you strategize, you observe.
Okay, and I love this line.
Okay.
Every word you withhold is a thread you pull, tightening the web they don't even feel.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So it's like you're building this...
Like you're a spider.
Yeah.
Weaving a web.
And they don't even know.
And they're walking right into it.
They're caught in it.
Yeah.
And the video contrasts the clamor of the mediocre...
with the potent silence of the wise.
The people who know what's up.
Yeah. And they're just quiet.
They don't need to shout.
They don't need to make a big deal about it.
Exactly.
So this is really interesting to me because it's like sometimes saying less can actually have a bigger impact than like...
Than being loud and aggressive.
Yeah, being like a motor mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and then it talks about the rhythm and tempo of this approach.
It was crucial.
So it's not about like instant result.
No, it's about patience.
It's about letting things unfold.
Letting things unfold naturally.
Yeah, over time.
Over time, yeah.
And the video uses this really beautiful image of waiting and letting the moment open, like a flower you didn't plant.
I love that.
So it's like you're not
forcing it.
You're just letting it.
You're creating the conditions.
Yeah, creating the conditions.
And letting nature take its course.
Yeah, letting nature take its course. Okay, so this is really interesting because it's like so often we want to rush in and like fix things.
We want to control everything.
We want to control everything.
Yeah.
But this is saying like sometimes
the best thing you can do is nothing.
The best thing you can do is nothing.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Let it
be.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's this amazing concept
of
planting a thought in someone's mind so subtly that they think it was their own idea.
Like Inception.
Yeah.
Planting an idea in their subconscious.
And the video calls it the art of steering a ship without touching the helm.
Ooh, that's good. I like that.
So you're guiding them.
You're influencing.
Oh, they don't even know.
They have no idea.
That you're guiding them.
It's like magic.
Yeah, it's like magic.
Yeah.
So have you ever done that?
Oh, yeah, I think we all have.
Where you like subtly introduced an idea and then later on.
They take it and run with it.
They take it and run with it as if it was their own.
And they get all the credit, but you know where it came from.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Okay, so it's all about not confrontation, but like gentle
guidance.
Subtle influence.
And the video says, resistance hardens against the bold, but it melts before the subtle push.
It's like water.
Yeah.
You know, if you try to force it,
it
pushes back.
Right.
But if you're gentle, it flows around.
So it's the difference between trying to like dominate a situation.
Right. Trying to control everything.
Yeah. And just dissolving into the background.
Becoming part of the landscape.
Yeah. Becoming part of the landscape.
Yeah.
So the key here is subtlety is more effective.
Subtlety is key.
Than brute force.
Yes.
Okay. So then we move into this idea of the nature of true power.
Yeah.
And this is where the video gets really like visual.
It does. It uses some really powerful imagery.
Yeah. To illustrate these concepts.
So it talks about the hawk.
Oh, yeah.
Soaring high, unseen, and striking only when the wind is ours to command.
It's like waiting for the perfect moment.
Yeah, waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
Yeah.
So it's not about like constantly...
Right, it's not about wasting energy on things that aren't going to get you anywhere.
Right.
It's about being strategic.
Yeah, choosing your battles.
Choosing your battles, exactly.
And I love this line. Every conversation is a stage. Every glance, a cue.
Ooh.
For someone who's operating invisibly backstage.
So it's like there's this whole hidden world that we're not aware of.
Yeah, like behind the curtain.
Yeah, behind the scenes.
And we're just seeing the play.
And we're just seeing the performance.
Yeah, but there's all this stuff happening behind the scenes.
That we don't know about.
Yeah. And it contrasts failing in the open.
Right.
Which can like really hurt you.
Make you vulnerable.
With succeeding in the dark.
Where no one can see your weaknesses.
Yeah. So it's like you're
building strength.
You're building strength in secret.
In secret, yeah.
And then when you finally reveal yourself...
You're unstoppable.
You're unstoppable.
Exactly.
So this is really interesting because it's like, so much of our culture is about like...
Showing off.
Showing off and being loud.
Yeah, being flashy.
But this is saying like...
Sometimes the quiet ones.
Are the most powerful.
Yeah.
And it contrasts the impatient.
Right.
Who are always chasing like the next
quick win.
Yeah,
the instant gratification.
I know people who are playing the long game.
Game. So it's about like rising above
the noise. The distraction. The short-term thinking.
Like its own vision.
The long-term. Yeah. And it says that true power doesn't need a throne.
It doesn't need validation.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be done.
It doesn't need to be flashy.
It just is.
In your face.
It just is.
It's like the hand stirring the pot.
You don't see it. But it's making everything happen.
Exactly. So this is really powerful. Because it's like so often we think of power as being like this in your face.
Loud, aggressive, dominating.
But this is saying like...
True power. It is subtle.
It's behind the scenes.
So
influential.
Yeah. And it might even be quiet.
It might even be silent.
Okay, and then it ends with this idea that like the biggest game might be won in stillness.
In silence.
Beneath all the noise.
Beneath all the distraction.
Yeah, so it's not about like winning every battle. It's about winning...
the war.
The long game.
Yeah, and it asks, is the greatest victory?
Yeah.
Not in being right.
Not in being right all the time.
But in becoming inevitable.
Ooh. That's good.
So like, it's not about like winning every argument.
Right.
It's about
setting things in motion.
So
that the outcome you want is the only possible outcome. Yeah.
Wow. So this whole deep dive into invisible mastery is basically saying that real influence,
real lasting change,
and lasting achievement comes from subtlety,
patience,
and understanding.
Yeah.
Those unseen forces that shape things.
Hidden dynamics.
Yeah, and not from being loud. Being loud and flashy.
Demanding attention.
Right. Okay, and it ends with this really thought-provoking question. When the world looks away, what will you build in the silence they'll never hear?
That's a good one to ponder.
So it's like an invitation to think about what you can achieve when you're not
worried about
what other people think.
Yeah, the spotlight.
The applause. Yeah. The recognition.
Yeah. So it's like, what can you build in the quiet?
In the shadows.
When no one's watching.
And
that's something for you to think about.
Yeah, that's something for all of us to think.
Yeah.
I think that's a great place to leave it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Invisible mastery.
Invisible mastery.
Love it.
Okay, we'll see you next time.